Let's talk about my recovery in general after the surgery. I don't know if you've seen my last video. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But so we had a 6-hour surgery after chemo. I will let you know how was recovery. And keep in mind, recovery is different for everyone. Okay? Hello, everyone. My name is Rosena. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is Living with Purpose, Rosena's story. So I am a triple negative stage 3 breast cancer survivor, and I am here to share my story. Thank you for tuning in. So today I will let you know how was my recovery after surgery. So, in general, there is like an initial recovery, and that's when you are still at the hospital. So, now recovery differs for everyone. And the amount of time you spend or you stay at the hospital is different for everyone, and there are certain things they look into. The most important thing is, of course, your health condition. If you have any underlying conditions, most of the time you will be there for a longer period of time. But I believe and also the type of surgery you have will determine how long you stay there. For me, I had a unilateral mastectomy, so just one side. And so I didn't even have to stay in the hospital for long. So I had surgery at 10 a.m. and then the next day by 10 a.m. So I want to say about 24 hours. But usually for a mastectomy, either one, two, or double mastectomy, usually is about 24 to 48 hours, sometimes 72 hours. And again, there are some other factors to look into. Okay, so I was there for about 24 hours. So the initial recovery is, pretty much coming out of anesthesia, and then they have to check certain things to make sure your gag reflex are okay, to make sure you urinate, to make sure you alert and everything. And after you pass the assessment part that's required after anesthesia, then they can clear you to go home. So for me, I went home the next day. Now, when they send you home, they will send you with pain management. That's the next phase, which is the at-home phase. Remind you, your care team will give you instructions for when you go home. Just please remember to follow these instructions carefully. So I was sent home with a bunch of instruction, and of course I was still a little bit groggy, but I had somebody with me to go home because obviously I couldn't drive. So they took all that information and they helped me when I got home. Okay, so now you are home from surgery. First of all, going home was a struggle. And for me, I just had one mastectomy, right? So I could imagine for those who have like two, like a double mastectomy or a deflab, like surgery to do reconstruction is even more complicated. But the ride home, it was crazy. The ride home, like I remember, like even when my husband was driving, and when I would see like a bump, like a hole on the road or a speed bump, I had to tell him to slow down because it was so painful. Um, Riding back home, the area, of course, the surgery site. Okay, but when you get home, um, of course, you have to take care of yourself. You have, depending on the type of surgery you had. For me, I had one mastectomy. So I had two drains. The drains are there to collect fluid, and they give you instructions on how many times you have to empty the drainage. So for me, I had to empty the drains twice a day, morning and evening. And then they gave me like a sheet where I had to record the time and the date, and also how much of the fluid did I collect, millimeters or whatnot, and the color of it. I had to check my temperature also. I had to do that every day. Okay. And that's how the amount of fluid that's coming out of the drain is how they will know when it's ready to be removed. Okay. And the drains were on my side. I will find maybe a picture to show you how the drain looks. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. So they sent me home with pain management. And a big tip for that one is anyone that's going through this, or if you about to get a mastectomy or any type of surgery, it doesn't even have to be cancer related. When they give you pain management, do not wait till you start feeling the pain to take the pain medication. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know for me, I'm a big person. I'm a big a believer of doing natural remedies or whatnot. So sometimes I'm a little bit stubborn. So then I'll tell myself, I don't need it or whatnot. And then by the time I take the pain medication, I'm already hurting too much. So please don't do that. Um, Take it on the clock until you will know your body. You know your body. You will know when you no longer need it. But take it on the clock, please. So my instruction was to make sure I don't lift anything more than 5 to 10 pounds. I could not lift. I couldn't lift anyways. The most important thing after surgery, when it comes to cleaning up, keeping up with the incision site and whatnot, the most important thing is to prevent infection. So with that, the number one thing is hand hygiene. You make sure your hands are clean. So before you clean the site and before you empty the drains, because you do not want infection. Infection will send you back to the hospital, and it could be complicated. So that's my best advice. Keep your hands clean. Wash your hands before and after thoroughly before you clean the incision site and uh, emptying the drains. Healing time. So, as far as healing time, everyone heals differently. So I would say the most important part is making sure you're eating properly, you're drinking properly, you're staying hydrated, and you're eating high protein meals. So that way you can heal faster. Um, for that type of surgery, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for you to heal, sometimes months. So again, everyone is different. For me, I want to say it took me about 8 weeks to feel a little bit normal. For me, I feel like it was a slow process. Some people say, hey, after a mastectomy, I went straight to work after 2 weeks. And well, that wasn't the case for me. It was, I think it's different. It differs for everyone. Of course, I had follow-up appointments. I believe I had to see my breast surgeon first, 2 days after surgery. 2 days after surgery, I had to go see her. Of course, I couldn't drive. I was not allowed to drive. So somebody had to take me. And pretty much they just go and they assess the site to make sure it's healing properly. So that was breast surgeon. The next appointment was to see the plastic surgeon, and I saw her about 2 weeks after my surgery. And usually that's the time when they can decide if they will remove one of the drains or not. So after about 2 weeks, they were able to remove one drain out of the two. The other one, I was still getting a lot of fluid. So I had to wait. And that one, it took some time. It took about 3 to 4 weeks before they could remove it. So that was that. Okay, so obviously you had a mastectomy, which is pretty much amputation of the breast, right? Um, Physical changes. What are they like? I could not lift my arm for about 6 weeks. It took that long for me to lift my arm. I could not raise my arm. And that's another thing. And I'll probably do a video on some of the tips, some of the things that helped me. So I had to make sure certain clothing, certain shirts, certain bras, I had to buy just a few for the time being after surgery. And the reason why I was able to, okay, physically, everything's feel tight. You feel like, okay, so you want to move and it's almost like somebody's pulling you back. That's how it feels. And apparently it's gonna feel like that for the rest of my life. That's what they said. Um, so that was difficult, of course. I was pretty much depending on someone to help me to grab this, grab that. So I mean, I'm able to brush my teeth, shower, but I cannot lift my arm after my shoulder length. Okay, so I can stay like this. That's it. That was a big thing for me. All right. Also, If you remain flat, you do have options for prosthetics or reconstruction. Okay, some people do reconstruction, they have different reconstruction options. Some people might do reconstruction right after the mastectomy, or like at the time of the mastectomy, or they can do delayed reconstruction, which is like you pretty much choosing to stay flat until you are healed. And then once you're done, once you're healed properly, you go under anesthesia to do reconstruction. And so in that time frame, while after you heal, before you can do reconstruction, they have options for you to get a prosthetic, a prosthesis. So it's like a fake breast, you can say. You have that option. So for me, that's kind of what I went with because I remained flat, and that was the best option for me. Um, and plus, I had to do radiation. Radiation causes a lot of damages. So, my surgeon preferred for me to finish with radiation, let my body heal, let the area heal, and then we will go for another surgery to do reconstruction. Just so you know, I just wanted to mention that so that way people know like you do have options for that. You don't have to remain flat. However, there's nothing wrong with remaining flat. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people do it and they're happy. Uh, so it's up to you. You have that option. Emotional support. Okay. You just had major surgery. You have a piece of your femininity being taken away from you. You will have a mix of emotions. And that's okay. That is okay. Um, for me, it took me some time to even look at myself in the mirror. It took me some time to even look at the incision. Like it was difficult and it's still difficult for me because it's not something I'm used to. So there are resources out there. There are support groups that's available depending on the facility where you're getting treatment. A lot of treatment centers have counseling available. They have support groups available, so you can speak to someone professional. It's difficult. It's a hard thing to take in. It's a hard thing to process. It's a hard thing. Mentally, it will affect you, especially looking at yourself in the mirror. You feel like you don't even recognize that person anymore. Um, but overall, I want to say that, I'm very grateful I'm alive and I can actually call myself a breast cancer survivor. Not many people get that chance. So I don't want to sound ungrateful. Is it a very difficult thing to go through? Yes. Um, I am a human. I have emotions. I, you know, it affected me in so many ways, but I am very grateful to be alive. I am very grateful to see every day. So that's about it. But anyways, recovery takes time, and it's okay if you have to take extra time, if you have to um, ask for help, if it's okay to call someone, call a family member, a friend, and be like, hey, can you help me? Don't try to be like a superwoman, and try to do things on your own because you will end up hurting yourself and then it could be bad. Okay. So we don't want that. Safety first. Definitely. But, anyways, thank you so much for listening to me. So I just wanted to come on here, give you that information, and let you know how recovery was for me. For anyone that's going through it, I know it's difficult. I know it's not easy, but you got this. You are strong enough. You will make it through. And you're not alone in this, okay? So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And please don't forget to help me share my story by hitting that like button and subscribing. And comment below too if you have any questions. I will greatly appreciate that. I will see you in the next video. But one thing, enjoy the little things, okay? The smallest things in life could mean so much to you and to the people around you. So please enjoy those little things because life can be taken away from you within a second. All right. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Your grace lifts me higher through every storm, through every fire. I stand strong.